Evening, guys. Hope you're well. Obviously, questions for Ilkay Gundogan first, and then the manager will join us after that. If we can take questions in English first, please, and then we'll take some in German after that, just to keep things consistent. Somewhere to start. We have mics on either side. We'll start with Martin at the bottom, please. Is a mic coming your way, Martin, if you hang fire, please. Thank you.
Hi, Ilkay. How do you approach a game like this when you're starting off with a 3-0 lead? Do you look to win the tie on the night or defend the lead, or what?
Well, I guess it's about finding the balance. Our team is built to start every game and try to win it. So obviously we want the ball, we want possession, we want to keep it. But we need to play also in a mature way, because we know this is the knockout stage now. And we know also from the experience from the past, not just our own games, also games that we have watched, that still everything is possible. This competition has something special. And you can get sometimes incredible results that you probably won't believe beforehand. So obviously we take it very serious. We know that we play against one of the best teams in Europe, and that's how we approach the game.
John?
Okay, got it, yeah. And similarly, what's the best way of dealing with the possibility of complacency? You know, thinking that possibility that you think that the job's done already?
Just don't think about it, because it's not done. We know that in this competition it's always first and second leg. So we're playing away now, and I think especially playing away always requires big personality. And especially when I say that we want the ball, you know, we want to keep it, we want possession. You have to have personality, you know, playing in such an amazing stadium. You know, their fans will be behind them more than ever, and it's about us, you know, not to allow them to get the momentum, you know, and maybe to get the first goal, and then they will feel that there's still a lot to play for in these 90 minutes. So the best way of dealing with that is just how I said, play our style of football, even though we know it's going to be very hard, but get the momentum on your side and try to be very efficient.
Arilas?
Hello, Ilkay. Since he came to the club, Erling's injuries, the amount of injuries he's had has drastically gone down. So can you give us an insight, first of all, in how detail-oriented and how professional he is in that work off the pitch? And then, secondly, are Man City, in your experience, better than other clubs when it comes to dealing with recovery and the work that is done in the medical staff, etc.?
First of all, I think we have a great medical team. I mean, I've been here now nearly 7 years. I had one long-term injury since I've joined the club, which was an accident. But apart from that, apart from a couple of small things, I never really had that kind of an injury. So I think that's credit to our whole medical team. They're amazing, and Erling is just a big professional. You can see it from his attitude, you know, not just on the pitch, also off the pitch. He is probably always the first one, you know, arriving at the training ground. He gets his treatment, he gets his meals, he trains, and then he gets his treatment again, you know, and he knows, I think, now what he needs, what his body needs, what is required, you know, to play on such a high level every 3 days. And yeah, it's been amazing so far. I think he's just missed one game so far, or a couple of games, but he's doing amazingly. He gets all the support from everyone, and of course we need him in his best possible version.
Okay.
Hi, okay. You've obviously only got 2 months left on your contract. Have you communicated to the club what you're planning to do in the summer?
There are talks. Obviously, there are talks in the background. I think that's quite normal with just a couple of months left. But without going too much into detail, there's nothing decided yet. Not from my side, not from the club side. So the talks, they continue. And if there is something, if there's a decision at one point, you guys will be the first ones to know.
Ilkay, you've got a lot of Bundesliga experience, German colleagues in the Bayern dressing room. What have you made of their problems? The mood around here seems quite low and despondent. What have you made of their so-called problems this season? How do you think you can take advantage of that tomorrow night?
I can't really talk much about them, to be honest. I don't know what's happening internally in their dressing room around the club. The only thing I know is that Bayern Munich is the biggest club in Germany, and every single year they're ambitious and they play for everything. And of course, you can get knocked out sometimes of the cup, or you can win a few games in the league. I think the expectation is just so high because this club has been doing amazingly in the last decade, or even more, you know. So I think it just shows how ambitious they are, and same for my colleagues from the national team. I know their mentality. I know how they are dedicated to their work. And as I said before, answering a question, I expect them tomorrow in their best possible version. I think tomorrow they will try to be one of the best teams in Europe. And I have to say I'm a big fan of their manager as well. I had him myself in Dortmund. And I understand that sometimes, you know, being in the job from one day to the other brings us difficulties as well, and is not always easy. But I think throughout the time, if he is given enough time, you will see to what levels they will come, even though maybe they might not be there right now consistently. But I think it's just a matter of time that they will be, that you're going to watch them and you will say, wow.
Sam?
Hopefully not tomorrow.
Hi, Ilkay. Do you remember after the Southampton game in the League Cup earlier this season, you said felt like there was a special ingredient missing in City, but obviously now it seems completely different, and you're back at that top level that we normally expect from City at this time of year. Could you give us an idea of how you think that turned around from January to now? Did the players get together? Did you do anything? Did you have any talks? How does it work?
We had talks, but I think everything that has happened, it's mainly on the pitch, you know. Sometimes you feel like it clicks on the field, you know, and then you have a certain system, you have a certain way of playing, and maybe up to that Southampton game in the League Cup, it didn't feel like, you know, it's 100% fitting. But at one point, and it's just a personal feeling that you have inside yourself sometimes, and I'm sure it's the same also with Pep, you know, as the manager, you know, as the one who has all these ideas, you know. It sometimes just clicks, and then you know, okay, this is the way to go. And at the moment, it feels just as a perfect fit for everyone.
We'll do two more in English, guys, and then some in German. We'll start with Paul.
Ilkay, you got to the semi-finals last season, the final the year before. Just wondering, how do those kind of memories of coming so close inspire you to kind of push that a little bit more this year?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the more far you get in that competition, the bigger the hunger, you know, to win it. And I don't know who, apart from the manager, won this competition in our team. I don't think anyone, to be honest. But we were close. I was close when I was at Dortmund, you know, in 2013, and then the most of the squad was very close a couple of years ago. But it was not meant to be, and that just increases, you know, the desire to get back into that final and lift the trophy, you know, because I think this is what the club and also this group of players deserve.
Ben?
Could you please share some insight on how Pep pushes your buttons in order for you players to stay hungry and with desire? And could you please also describe his psychological side of managing?
I don't know. It's quite difficult to explain. I guess the advantage is quite playing every 3 days, because you know, when you play every 3 days, you don't really have much time, you know, to think about what has happened in the past. It's just a matter of a few hours, and you get into the next big challenge, big competition. And with the squad that we have, I feel like that's quite often a really serious advantage for us. You know, we have the quality, we have the amount of players, we have the depth in the squad. So it's just about pushing every single player in the training sessions, you know. And I didn't see anyone, you know, like losing any slight of motivation over the last few months. Even players, you know, who might be a little bit behind, who didn't play so much or as much as other players, you know, in the past few weeks. They train amazingly. Their attitudes are really good. And this is really when you feel like, okay, this group is intact, and that's the only way, you know, of winning the biggest games and the biggest trophies.
Try Ben again.
Thank you. Ilkay, Pep told me last week that in an ideal world he'd love to keep you forever. When you hear words like that from your manager and also your neighbour, does it make the decision on whether you stay or leave the hardest one you've ever had to make in your career?
That and my physical condition, I think, plays also a part in that. But obviously, I appreciate it a lot. I hear it for the first time as well. I didn't know, to be honest. But I think he knows what he has. And of course, I also know we've been together 7 years. And it has been amazing, you know. We've won a lot together. And to hear things like that, of course, brings me joy, brings me a smile, and appreciates what I have done in this last 7 years.
Okay, we'll take a couple of questions in German, guys, before the manager arrives.
Hello, Ilkay. There was this dispute, the argument between Sadio Mane and Leroy Sané. I guess you heard about it. Would you have thought about it to happen in the locker room after Bayern Munich? Would you have thought that Sadio Mane could do this? Do you think that he could start tomorrow? Well, I can imagine, actually. We have known Sadio Mane from the Premier League. And we're playing with Liverpool. They were hard opponents. We know his qualities. And such a dispute or argument can also cause something or produce something positive. And Bayern hopes for that. I don't know if he then will start tomorrow or play tomorrow, but it doesn't matter if with him or without him as a starter. We expect a very strong team of FC Bayern Munich and an FC Bayern at top level. More questions?